back. Today we're going to talk about the percent equation. For example, the percent equation deals with statements like this. 10 is 50% of 20. Well, the percent equation is something that we all are kind of familiar with. For example, I'm going to set it up as a fraction because really I have 10 out of 20, right? And I know that represents 50%. Well, if I set this up as a proportion, which is what we're talking about, because these are two equivalent fractions or a proportion, it's really 50% out of 100%. And you see how this works. So these two fractions are equivalent because 10 out of 20 is equal to 50% out of 100%. If I abstract this, I get A over B is equal to the percent out of 100. And I can solve that like a normal proportion, whether I'm using the cross products method or a similar method of comparing these fractions. Really, that's what I end up with. And if I go to generally what it means, really my A and my B and my P are parts of this equation, and you can generalize it like this. Is over of equals percent out of 100. For example, 10% is goes in here, of 20 or out of 20, so 20 goes on the bottom. So these two things are going to be our key to solving these percent problem equations. Let's do a couple of examples. Use a percent proportion, meaning we're going to be setting it equal to a percent out of 100. 63 is what percent of 75? Well, obviously, we're going to be using these two proportions, or these two fractions. So A over B is equal to a percent out of 100. Well, what don't I know? Well, I don't know the percent. So I'm going to say it's P out of 100. And then I have to set up this fraction. 63 is what percent of 75? So out of 75, I have 63. And so then I can just solve it like a normal proportion. I can use my cross products method. And I'll end up with 6,300 equals 75p. I'll divide by 75. Divide by 75. And I get that p is equal to, see if I get a little calculator here, a little calculator action, 84%. Okay, so 63 is 84% of 75. Moving on to B. Try B on your own. Notice still missing that percent. See if you can set it up and try it on your own. In letter C, notice we're given something a little bit different. Now we are given the percent, and I shouldn't be afraid of having a percent as a decimal because it's still going to be 0.08 out of 100, right? Because that's my percent out of 100. And I have 24 of what number? Out of what number? So the of goes on the bottom, and that's something I don't know, so I'll just use an X because it's an unknown. And I have 24. Once again, I'll set up my cross products, and I'll end up with 2400 equals 0.08 x. And when I solve this, divide by 0.08, 0.08, and I punch this into my calculator. I'm going to get 3,000. Okay, and if I was to set that up, it'd be 24 out of 3,000 is 0.08 out of 100. Okay, D is a little bit different. I want you to try that one on your own. Notice what you don't have. Notice what you do have. Okay? Try that one on your own. That's the basics of the percent equation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.